Hi, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Eli.
And we're Envy Board Gaming. And today we're going to bring you a very special top 10 list. This is going to be Eli's top 10 games of all time. Now, Eli's played quite a few games, but not enough to make a top 100. And this list kind of came about while Samantha and I were making our top 100 list. He said that he would like to make a list as well. So we're going to be doing his top 10 games of all time, and I am going to do, alongside him, top 10 games that I like to play with him. So my top 10 games that I like to play with Eli. So with that being said, Eli, how many crossovers do you think we're going to have?
About like 6.
You think 6?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and jump in and see how many crossovers we have, and we're going to start with our number 10. All right, Eli, with our number 10, what is your number 10?
My number 10 is Draftosaurus, and in that game, you have like your own board, and like there's a winter and summer side, and you have like these little dinosaurs in your hand, and you like place them around in your pens, and
Yeah, so you place them in your different pens, right?
Yeah.
And then based on what pen you put them in, they're going to score differently.
Yeah.
And so you have a handful of these little like dinosaur meeples.
Yeah.
Pick one, and then when you're done picking one, what do you do after everybody's picked a dinosaur?
You swap it.
Yeah, so you're going to pass it around to the next player, and you kind of go around and around. So it's like a dinosaur drafting game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Draftosaurus, Eli's number 10. My number 10 is a really interesting game from Amigo Games, and this is Bear Down. Bear Down, players are a bear on this little waterfall, and what you are doing is you are making your way closer and closer to the waterfall, trying to collect as much fish as you can get. And then after you get that fish, you got to get it back to shore so that you're safe. But every round, you're rolling these dice, which are going to add these water tiles to each little canal. And those little tiles are going to push you even closer and potentially over the edge of the waterfall, resulting in you losing all of your fish and kind of going back to the shore and kind of going back out there. And you're essentially going to be trying to score the most fish, get the most fish, and you win. And it's a pretty simple, quick little game, but really fun. Has some anxious tension where you're like, please don't roll those water tiles. I don't want you to knock me over. Oh, I crash and fall. Right? Yeah, that's a pretty good one. So that's my number 10. Eli, on to your number 9.
My number 9 is the Isle of Cats. So, you're gonna have like your little board that's essentially like a boat, and there's gonna be 4 rounds, and you're gonna be able to like get like these cats, and you have to place them on your boat, and then like depending where you put those cats, you get points.
Right, because you're trying to get groups of cats of the same color together.
Yeah.
And you're trying to maybe cover up some different maps of the same color to get some extra treasures. And so we do play the family variant of this one. And so I think there's 4 or 5 rounds in the game. And it's really fun to just watch them kind of spread out on your board and grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Eli really likes the polyomino games with the little Tetris pieces kind of thing, filling in your little puzzle. So that's a good one. Isle of Cats for Eli's number 9. My number 9 is a Lucky Duck game, and I think it's going to be a lot higher on Eli's list. And that is Kids Chronicles: The Quest for the Moonstones. So if you're familiar with Chronicles of Crime, this is a kids version of that game, which is much simpler, but you're still going around trying to solve these problems and help different people. It is a fantasy land, and as you are completing these little like quests and helping people out, finding different items, you are then eventually going to receive these different stones. And it all leads up, it's all like a big campaign, and at the end you use all these stones in the final quest. And it's really been fun. We played through it at least one whole time. I think we were playing through it again because Samantha wanted to play. And so the first time it was just us, and then Samantha really wanted to play, so we played it again with her. And so that was that was a pretty fun game. I thought that was interesting. It is app integrated just like Chronicles of Crime, but I really hope they come out with some more quests for that. I know it's just like Chronicles of Crime. I hope they come out with some more expansions to give us some more quests to go on. I think that'd be cool, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's my number 9, Kids Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. Number 8 for Eli.
My number 8 is Bear Down.
Oh, crossover! Nice. Go ahead.
And so in this game, you're going to be a bear.
Right, just like I was saying.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're going to be on this waterfall, and like there's fish, and you have to get the fish, and you're like a bear, and like your mini has like a tiny like boat under it type thing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't see that.
And also, you have to stop at a fish.
Yes, you do have to stop. Once you hit a fish, you stop. You can't go any further.
And some dice get more fish on them, depending on the color.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I thought they were all the same dice, just different color. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know better than me.
And also, some add water tiles, which some water tiles fall off, and if you're on one of those water tiles that fall off, those fish are going to come down with you, and you have to wait till there's another big stack to get that much fish again.
Yeah. And the fish always accumulate the most at the front of the waterfall, so you got to really take a risk trying to get those big stacks of fish. But, I mean, it's always that chance that you fall off.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. All right, our first crossover, you said 6, right?
Yeah.
All right, and that was your number 8.
Yeah.
Number 7 is my... my number 8. Ooh, I almost skipped my number 8. My number 8 is my first Haba game on this list. And I think it's actually a pretty old Haba game. And that is Monza. It's not any secret that I love racing games. And this one is a racing game where you are chucking a bunch of dice. And the dice have different colors on them. And you use those dice in any order to move your car along on these different colored squares or rectangles, I guess, as you're moving around the track. So you're racing around the track using these dice. And so as you spend them, you're going to be advancing on these different spaces with different colors. And a lot of times we are controlling multiple cars when we play. So if there's like 6 cars, I'll control 3, you'll control 3. And that's really fun. I really like that. For a kids racing game, I really like that one.
Yeah, I also do.
Yeah? All right, so that's my number 8, Monza. Number 7.
My number 7 is Planet Unknown. So your board is going to be like a planet, and like there's a civ, and there's tech, there's rovers, and there's biomass.
And the water, too.
Yeah, in the water, and some of these planets have like different like rules to playing on them, and some of the like corporations do and stuff. And you can have different amounts of rovers. And
what's your favorite part of that game? Because it's also a polyomino game like Isle of Cats, where you're taking those little pieces and filling up your...
My favorite part of the game is that you like build up this planet, and it's like just so cool watching like the water go, and like it's just so fun. Like the pieces are like so cool to feel.
Like a little puzzle. I thought you would have said like collecting the meteorites, like you're driving your little rover around. I thought that was going to be your favorite. Because usually when you haven't played that game a ton, you played it a few times. But,
I've only played it twice.
Yeah, but he's always like, let's play Planet Unknown. And so, driving around and collecting those meteorites are your favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. And not all these games are exactly kids' games, but they're your favorite games, right? They're family-weight games, too. So that was your number?
7.
7. All right, my number 7 is another Haba game. And this one is probably their most well-known Haba game, which is their most well-known kids game, family game. And that's going to be Karuba. So in Karuba, you have four different temples and four different explorers,
Yeah.
and you are placing tiles. So somebody is going to be having a stack of tiles that are all random, and you're going to flip them over, and they have a number on them, and you're replacing them on your little board to create paths to get the correct colored adventurer to the correct colored temple. So you might have a purple one that needs to get to the purple temple, or blue and blue, yellow, yellow, and I think brown and brown, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're going along, you can pick up these little gold nuggets that are worth 2 points, or you can pick up these crystals that are worth 1 point. And you're racing to get to these temples, and whoever gets to each temple first is going to get this little point token that is worth 5 points. And then the next person to get there might get 3 points, and it's going to be diminishing returns after that. But this was a really fun one. Eli does like to try to see where you put your tiles and maybe copy you when you're racing. He's like, where'd you put that tile at? I want to put it in the same spot.
Yeah.
So sometimes I have to be like, you place yours first, and then I'll place mine. But
yeah,
usually not too bad. So that's going to be my number 7, Karuba.
And my number 6 is Cubitos, and you're like an animal that's like cube. Like it's made out of like cubes, and like
yeah,
you're like going around and like collecting these different dice, and like these dice do different things, and this is a race that you like go around, and the more advanced maps I think have like portals.
Yeah, they have like where you can jump from one spot to the next. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and
some have water, like a lot of water.
Yeah, and you could like jump over the water.
Well, there's cards that let you go through the water. That's true. So it is a racing game where you're getting all these different dice and you're chucking these dice, and some of them have special abilities that you get to use.
Yeah.
But they give you money to buy more dice. And yeah, it's a race essentially around this track. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay. So that's your number 6, right?
Yeah.
All right. My number 6 is I can't remember who makes it. I want to say it's Blue Orange. I could be wrong though. And this is going to be Slide Quest. So this reminds me a lot of like those little marble mazes where you're trying to move the marble around and get it to the hole. But in this game, it's a little knight, and you are taking them along the path, and you are trying to avoid falling in the holes to get to the other side of the map.
And there's dynamite in it as well.
Yeah, there's going to be dynamite. There's like little archways you have to go through. And as you go up, there's going to be these like bosses and enemies that you have to fight. And the way you fight them is you have to knock them into the holes. And sometimes they're numbered, and you have to knock the correct numbered little meeple into the correct numbered hole. And sometimes you got to be able to, you can't knock the dynamite over, you lose. So you lose lives. And there's like 20 different levels. And there's 4 different little levers that you're using. So me and him will each operate 2 levers trying to slide him around. But it's a really cool little game. There's fences that are up. There's rocks that get in your way. But it's really cool and unique, and we've had a lot of fun with that one. So my number 6 is Slide Quest.
And my number 5 is Psychic Pizza Deliverers. So in this game, there's like one person that's like creating this map, and like you have to try to pick up the pizza and then go to the house that is like your color, and like you have to like deliver the pizza before the other person can. And then you win the game. And I like that game because there's like pizza, and like I like eating pizza.
Yeah, this is one that
get the pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Deliver it.
Yeah, so he's always wandering around fighting the ghosts. Usually I'm the mayor in this game, so I create the little map, and then you and Samantha like to run around and try to find the pizzas and then deliver them to the house. Yeah, so that's always a fun one. I know you like that one, and Samantha likes that one a lot too. So that is your number 5, right?
Yeah.
All right, my number 5, I believe actually just won last year's Kids Game of the Year, which is the Kinderspiel, and that is, I believe it did win, Quacks & Co. So if you're familiar with Quacks of Quedlinburg, this is a kids version of it, which is essentially a race as well, where you all start at the bottom of this trail, and as you are you're grabbing these different tokens that give you different abilities to essentially move you along this track. And so you're getting these extra movements to go around, and you are going to be able to get money and things to buy extra tokens that give you special abilities. And I really like that one. So they have like the different numbers on them. So usually in the Quacks and Quedlinburg, you're going around your little pot. This one, the numbers are you're moving along this track. And you're trying to be the first one to get to the end. Very similar to Quacks and Quedlinburg, but much more simple.
And you're like this like cow or sheep or pig or like.
And there's really nice bags too.
And like at the end, there's like this like golden pot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a really good one. I really like that one. It's super fun for parents to play with their kids, and it's that's why it's my number 5. It's one of my best ones to play with kids, I think. So yeah, Quacks and Co.
My number 4 is Fossilis. So in this game, you like have like this mound of dirt, and like you go around and you go like mining these like things, and you can like slide them over and see if there's dinos over there, dino bones, and then you like pick them out with a tweezer like you're a paleontologist. And there's actually some cards that you can actually make your own dinosaur.
We did. We made our own dinosaur. Do you remember what it was called?
Yep.
What was it?
Mine was the Elisaurus, and Daddy's was the Prentosaurus.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And so, because at one point, Eli he said that when he grew up, he wanted to be a paleontologist. And so, going around and digging in the dirt and finding these bones, and it has the Ice Age expansion and all these different events that happen and stuff, which are really cool. But it's a nice little, you're sliding things around and you're digging in there with the little tweezers. It's really cool. Yeah. And it's great hands-on. Like, it's very tactile.
Yeah.
Very nice. So that's your number 4, right?
Yep.
My number 4 is a little bit of a chaos game. This is by Yellow, and this is one I don't think I ever really saw a lot of coverage of, and that is Flying Goblins. So the box of Flying Goblins turns into a castle with a whole tower and different rooms. And what you're going to be doing is you have like a little catapult, a little lever where you are going to be launching these little goblin minis, or not minis, but meeples, into these different rooms. And some give you gold, some give you crystals, some give you special abilities. And there's a king that sits on top of the tower that you can try to knock over. And if you hit him, it gives you a bunch of extra points and get a little special tile. And with the money, you can buy extra goblins or special robber goblins that give you stuff that you set up on the rooftops of the castle.
Yeah.
And it sounds a lot more complicated than it really is, but it's so much fun, and you just be silly with it, right? Yeah. And so there's a couple different ways that you win. You either win by getting like 20 or 25 crystals, or you use that money and you can build these little totems. So you put the totems up on the rooftops. And as you're building them up, people can try to knock them down. And if they knock them down, you lose a layer of your totem. But if you manage to get it all the way built and nobody knocks it down, then you win the game that way as well. So that one's a lot of fun, a lot of chaos. But if you like, flinging stuff across the room, it's really cool.
And there's also like these hints. Like if your goblin is laying down, he will go shorter but longer, and if
so he stays low, right?
Yeah, and like if it's standing up, he'll go like wee.
That's true, yeah. So there's a little bit of strategy of how you lay your goblin, and when you launch him, how he's gonna fly. Yeah. That's a good point. Yep. Okay. So that was my number 4, Flying Goblins. Definitely check that one out.
My number 3 is Cartographers. So in Cartographers, you have like this little map, and like you like have to get like you can like make these
it's another polyomino, but you're drawing it, right? It's a flipping, right?
And you can draw it. There's like stamps there.
We have stamps on our upgraded set.
Yeah, and we have pencils. And
but you're drawing those little shapes, right, on your board?
Yeah, and you also get to like name your place and like Yeah.
And so each game you have a bunch of different scoring cards, and depending on what season you're going to score different cards. So in what is it? I think fall or spring. I think it's spring. You score card A and B, and each of them want you to do different things to score points. And then summer, it's B and C, and then it might be C and D for fall, and then D and A for winter. Those kinds of things. So each round, you're going to be scoring points in different ways, and you're going to be building up this map.
Yeah.
And there's going to be monsters that attack, and we have the heroes where you can get the heroes in there and they fight each other. That one's really cool. I like that one too. And that was your number 3?
Yep.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Rhino Hero Super Battle. So this is a really well-known kids game where you are building it up. It's like almost the opposite of Tetris, or not Tetris. What do they call it? Jenga. And so I forgot the game. So you're literally building up this tower, and everybody has a little meeple, and you're rolling a dice to see if you climb up it, because whoever the highest is in this structure that you're building is going to win the game. If they get all the way to the top and they're the highest when it falls. But you're trying not to collapse it, and you're adding these walls and these floors, and you're building it up and up and up and up. And we've gotten some pretty crazy high towers when we played it. But it's a lot of fun. And in the Super Battle one, if people are all on the same level, you have to fight each other. And you roll these dice, and whoever has the highest number is going to stay there, and the lower one's going to drop down a floor, that kind of stuff. So it's a really fun, interactive game that does have some dexterity to it. So that is going to be my number 3.
And whoever knocks the tower over loses.
So if you're at the top and you knock it over, you automatically lose.
Yeah.
So that is my number 3, Rhino Hero Super Battle. Number 2.
My number 2 is Flying Goblins.
Oh, crossover!
Yep. And so you have like these goblins, and they're like on a catapult, and like you like launch them into like the castle. And if you get into the castle, you get 5 gems.
Is it 5 or is it 3?
5.
Oh, okay, maybe it is 5. Okay. Yeah, we already talked about that one, so we don't have to talk too much about it.
Yeah.
But clearly, we both love it. My number 4, your number 3, another crossover.
Yeah.
Or your number 2, right?
Yeah.
Your number 2, my number 4. My number 2 is an older game. I believe it's by Zoc, I think. And this is Spinderella, where it's also kind of like a little race where you are a little group of ants, and you are trying to travel through this path to get to the other side. But there are spiders, so it's like a 3D box, right? There you have the bottom where you're traveling, and then it has a top layer, so it's all open, and there are spiders that are magnets. And when you're rolling these dice, you're either going to be moving the ants or moving the spiders. And with the spiders, you're trying to catch the other ants with the magnets. So you're lowering them and moving them around, and if you catch them, you get to move your ants as well, so you can do both. But then there's also this little trunk that you can be on top of, and it gets moved around, or they can cover up your ant that keeps you from moving. And so they have a short track and a long track, but that one's really fun. I love the little gimmick of the magnetic spiders that attach to the ants and sends them back to the beginning. So there's a little bit of take that there, but it's so silly fun. It's not too, it's a pretty short game, so you can be pretty quick. So my number 2 is Spinderella. And then we go into our number 1.
My number 1 is Kids Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. And it's this app, and you like can look around for like different things, and like there's these cards.
Oh yeah, the virtual rooms, that's cool.
Yeah. And like you can find different things, and like those things help different people that you meet, and along the way you'll get moonstones.
Yeah. And that's really cool, because you're like helping an alchemist or a wizard, right? You're helping a wizard.
Yeah.
So yeah, we really want a lot of expansions for that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's your number 1. And my number 1 is a game that I love, and I've talked about before, and that is Kabuto Sumo, where we are sumo fighting bugs, fighting one another, pushing back and forth to knock each other off. And there's, with the expansion, there's different things you can add, like a ladder or a briefcase and all these different stuff. But if they have a junior league to make it really easy for kids, but if you want to play with just adults, they have special abilities for each of the different bugs. There's an expansion. There's a couple expansions. There's Total Mayhem that adds all the added stuff. There could be a table, a coffin, but then they also have the All-Star Insects that adds just more insects, more special abilities, which are really cool. And so that's my number 1, Kabuto Sumo. So that is going to do it for Eli's top 10 games of all time and the ones that I love to play with him. So with that being said, please like, comment, subscribe. Samantha and I are working on our top 100, so that should be coming in the next month, I believe. And we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Bye.